Welcome into this week's edition of the Coaches Show. I'm Kevin Kyzar, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin, and joining me first, as always, is our women's head basketball coach, Dr. Belanger, Britta Belanger. I'll get it right one of these days. I've messed the intro up twice. I'm 2 for 2 on messing them up. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. It takes some time to adjust to a new last name. I'm still adjusting to it.
So obviously, we get to talk about a lot of good things happening for the Lady Wolves. The last time we talked to you, we teased the South Art game and a couple of others, and you've won all three of them, and you've done so in very convincing fashion. All three of them double-digit wins. We'll start with that South Art game. This one, 89-44. I don't know if you can say much else than what that scoreline says. Just pure, absolute dominance from your team.
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well in that game. You know, South Ark is a team who is a Division II team, and they've had a lot of injuries. So we knew coming in that they were not going to be one of the strongest opponents that we had played. And we just really wanted to play well and get a lot of contribution from everybody on our team. And I think that was something that we were able to do. Everybody on our team scored in this game. Everybody on our team contributed. And we got some valuable minutes for some of our freshmen who are still adjusting to the college game. And so I think that was the biggest thing, the most beneficial thing about this game.
Yeah. And, you know, last year we talked about it a lot, and we kind of talked about it the first week. You know, the goal is to win every quarter. You won 3 out of 4 in this one. You outscored them 25-8 in the first quarter. I remember when they scored the first one, I think it was 16-0 or 14-0. I heard you go, "Oh man, I wanted the girls to get more than 18-0." But you still went a long time of our girls scoring without them being able to respond. You outscored them 22-7 in the second quarter. And anytime when you go up to halftime and you go up 47-15, you like your odds of being able to carry it on.
Yeah, I can remember in that first quarter, and my memory's not great and all these games run together, but I can remember in that first quarter when we subbed, you know, we had a substantial lead. Our starters had a substantial lead, and Coach Thompson and I said, let's just send the 4 because we've only got 9 right now. We've got a lot of injuries. We sent the 4 on the bench and left 1, and when we sent them in, we didn't score for a very long time. And I can remember in the first quarter being very frustrated and disappointed because those subs that came off the bench didn't push the lead like I wanted them to. Because some of those subs that came off the bench are potential starters for us in different situations. So we needed them to be able to come in and push the lead. And I think they relaxed. I think, you know, when you've got that big of a lead, you kind of relax. You go up at halftime and you're up that much. And then in the third quarter, I thought we came out kind of flat because we did relax so much. But we were able to respond and come back and be able to really push the lead and have a good night. You know, I think, was this the game we had?
You had 3 double-doubles in this game. We're going to get to that. You actually had 3 double-doubles. You had 6 players in 6 players in double scoring figures. You know, I think as a coach, that's just an incredibly fun night. When you're sitting there and you're throwing out career highs for people like Zion Nelson, who barely missed a double-double. She had 17 and 9. Cam Pruitt had 11 and 10. Tyra Johnson had 10 and 10. Jalen Applewhite had her best game in the Lady Wolves uniform off the bench. She had 11 and 11. You know, you had Zaria Hatton, who had 10 as well, too, and Imani Key, who had 12. So, you know, you had 3 of your starters in double figures, 2 of those with double-doubles. You had a double-double off the bench and 2 more of your bench players that gave you double figures as well, too. So just a fun night.
Yeah, overall a very fun night. It's always nice when everybody on your team can score and everybody on your team can contribute. You know, that many double-doubles, that many players in double figures, when you have that many people playing that well, you're going to win. Whether you're playing a team like South Ark this week or you're playing a team like LSU Eunice or like Baton Rouge or one of those teams who's much stronger. You know, I thought in this game, our bench, even though the first time they subbed in, they were kind of flat, I thought throughout the game, our bench players gave us a big spark. You know, you talk about Zion Nelson and Jalen Applewhite and Zaria Hatton. All 3 of those kids came in and were able to give us a big spark, not only in scoring, but in rebounding and defensively. And I was really impressed with that. It takes some of the pressure off of our starters who have to do a lot of the scoring. And, you know, my kids oftentimes, they're, who's going to start the game? I don't care who starts the game. It doesn't matter who starts the game. It matters who finishes the game. You know, finishing is more important than starting. And so those bench players, they're a part of that finishing, you know, getting us to that finish line. And so I'm really proud that they were able to come in and contribute like that.
And you look at your other scores. Amari Barnes had 5. Akila Hobson had 9. Maddie Mitchell had 4 to kind of round that one out. And then we fast forward to these last couple of days. You went over to Southwest. We teased these a little bit. Went back to your old stomping grounds. Went and played the Coca-Cola Classic. Got you a couple of wins. Started off with a big 13-point win against LSU Eunice, and this was a game that when you and I talked, you said you were a little bit worried about this one. You felt like Eunice was maybe a little bit better than what they were last year, but it really felt like your girls came out and, you know, you look at the box score, and we'll talk a little more in depth about it, but you won all 4 quarters, and when you do that, you're going to win the game.
Yeah, this is a game that I was concerned about. LSU Eunice is a good team, and they were averaging about 86 points a night. So when someone's averaging that many points a night, they've got to be good because they're putting up big numbers. I joked because we got to Southwest on Monday, and the coach from LSU Eunice was there, and we were talking, and we were wearing the dark uniform, but we were supposed to be the home team, which is a whole thing in basketball. You get all confused. And then he was sitting on Southwest bench, and I called Brent, and I said, I can't do this if I got a coach from the visitors bench. I was like, you got to get him on the visitors bench and let us have the home bench, because I've won a whole lot of games on that home bench at Southwest. I'm 0-1 on the visitors bench. So anyway, we got that right. So I'll give a little asterisk to that helped us. But I think the key thing, or the biggest thing for this game, was our preparation. Coach Thompson and we knew going in that South Arkansas was a game that we probably should win, and we prepped for it. But we also started looking ahead and prepping for LSU Eunice. And all last week, we would throw in a little bit of stuff on Eunice in our practice. And then last Friday for practice, all we talked about was LSU Eunice. And then we came back on Sunday night, and we spent a ton of time on LSU Eunice. We shot the ball. We brought in our male practice players, and they pressed us. And I told them, I said, you get your turnovers out of your system tonight, because we can't turn it over against LSU Eunice. LSU Eunice is a team that will press you some fashion for 4 quarters, and they want you to turn it over. They don't care if you score 99 points, because they want to score 100. They want to play really, really fast. And so I thought, number one, we were able to break their press. We were able to throw over their press and get a lot of easy baskets against their press. And we held them to 55 points. That's very commendable for our defense, considering they had been scoring in the mid-80s every night. I thought one of the most impactful players in this game, who doesn't get a lot of credit most of the time, was Maddie Mitchell. Not a big scorer for us, but handles the ball. She had 6 turnovers in this game, and she's the point guard. She's supposed to, And I would love for that number to be down a little bit more, 3 or 4. But in a game where someone's pressing you for 40 minutes, and I'm asking you to handle the ball by yourself basically for 40 minutes, that's a commendable number. I yell at Maddie more than I yell at anybody else, because she does have such an important job, and I'm just really proud of how she embraced this and played in this game.
Yeah, and you look at the box score, and I just mentioned it. You won all 4 quarters. You outscored them in the first 14-10, outscored them in the second 21-18. These were narrow margins, but when you still win them, and even when you're winning them only by 2 or 3 points, again, that's what leads to a 13-point win. You outscored them in the third 17-14, and in the fourth 16-13, and that's how you get to the 68-55. And we're going to talk about the scores in this one, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention there were 3 Lady Wolves in double-digit scoring figures. 2 of these had double-doubles, and both the double-doubles were career highs for both ladies. Starting with Cam Pruitt, a monster game from her. 24 points, 17 rebounds, both career highs. Akila Hobson, 18 points, 12 rebounds. Again, both career highs. Imani Key, 18 points. Great number. Not a career high for Imani, but still a great number from her.
Yeah, those are big-time numbers from 3 big-time players. Those are kind of, right now, I feel like our 3 most impactful offensive scorers. And Maddie Mitchell, again, not an impactful scorer, but such an important role for what she does for us. I thought, and I'm going to get back to the scores in a second, but I thought, in addition to Maddie Mitchell, Tyra Johnson, who started at the 5 for us, started in that post, who didn't score a ton of points in this game, I thought she had a big impact on this game because of the way she played defensively and the amount of rebounds that she maybe didn't get, but her ability to block out and keep someone else from getting them allowed Cam and Akila and Maddie to get those rebounds. So I thought she was a big impact for us. I can't speak highly enough on Cam Pruitt and Imani Key and Akila Hobson right now, because they're all 3 playing so well. I think they've all 3 got really bright futures beyond Co-Lin. I think people are missing on them right now. They're not getting a lot of knocks on their door yet, and I think those are coming. We've talked about Cam. Lost 45 pounds in the offseason. She's a completely different player. Her body can move in ways that it couldn't move last year. She can score. Honestly, we talked about playing her at the 3 some, because she can move and she can shoot the 3. She's extended her range. She's just done so much to get herself and improve her game. Akila Hobson is a transfer kid who we knew could play, and she and Imani Key in this game, they hit a ton of 15-foot pull-up jumpers. That's their sweet spot. That's where their game is really good. That is a lost art in basketball. Everybody either wants to shoot the 3 or get to the layup, and those 2 have that pretty mid-range game, and I think that's what makes them so valuable for our team.
I think at one point, Bryce Perry and I were watching it, we looked up, and I said, well, Akila just shot another one. And I think she just shot another one and another. I think there were 3 or 4 possessions. She hit them all, and they were right in that mid-range spot. And I was like, man, that's just such a pretty shot from her. So, a great win there. And then you followed it up, and you played Southern Shreveport. In this one, you won 65-42. Your thoughts on this one? We talked about it right beforehand. You held the Lady Jaguars to 10 points in the first 3 quarters, 12 in the fourth, and you outscored them or matched them in all 4 quarters as well, too. And as we mentioned, that's good winning basketball.
It is good winning basketball. I didn't have a great feeling about this one after the game. I'm always happy to get a win, but I did not feel like we played extremely well. I'll credit some of that to tired legs because we do. We only have 9 right now with injuries and stuff. So all of our 9 had to play big minutes against LSU Eunice on Monday in a very hard-fought game. Despite what the score said, that game never felt that close to me. It felt like we were on edge all the time. So I'll credit some of it to tired legs. I'll also credit that we didn't get to do the preparation for Southern Shreveport like we did for LSU Eunice. Preparation is a big thing. It's my thing. It's what I like to do, and I spend my time watching film. And so because we did spend so much time preparing for Eunice, I didn't have as much time to prepare for Southern Shreveport. More than anything, we played back-to-back, and when you play back-to-back, you just don't have that kind of time. So I'll credit that a little bit too. I just thought we were sluggish to start. We couldn't really get going. Our presses weren't great. I thought we were okay in half-court defense. In the third quarter, I thought we were just horrendous defensively, but we were able to get, once again, get out and run. Those mid-range jumpers that we hit on Monday, we didn't hit as well on Tuesday, which kind of made it a little more difficult for us.
Yeah. You look at the box score, 20-10 in the first quarter, 17-10 in the second, 16-10 in the third, and then 12 each in the fourth. That's how you get 65-42. And then the line scores, Cam Pruitt, another monster game, another double-double for her, 18 and 12 in this one. Imani Key with 11. Akila Hobson didn't have the points in this one, only 3, but she had a monster day on the boards with 11. Mm-hmm. The other big score for you in this one was someone off the bench, someone we don't talk a lot about, Amari Barnes, 16 points, a career high for her. Yeah. And it might be a career high in shots as well, too. She took 16 shots. But she had a very good game. And, again, she kind of mirrored Akila from the day before. It felt like every time I looked up, Amari was making a basket for you in this one.
Yeah. I don't ever know who scores the points until after the game. Usually that's the first thing that I ask Rachel after we go talk to our team. Who played well? Who scored for us? I don't care who scores the points as long as we win the game. And I can feel as the game is going on, I can feel like the other night I knew Cam had a bunch of rebounds because every time I looked up, the ball was in her hands. Akila Hobson brings so much to this team, and it doesn't have to be scoring-wise. She's getting 10, 12 rebounds, and she's a guard. Against Eunice, we told her, we're like, you're going to have to be the safety when you're in at the point. And that hurts us when she has to be the safety. We need her to be able to rebound because she does such a good job at it. The flip of that is I get mad with Imani Key because she could average that many rebounds too if she would go rebound all the time. She rebounds sometimes. Akila rebounds all the time, and that makes her very impactful. I had no idea that Amari Barnes had 16 points, but she was a huge spark for us off the bench. Her size and her length brings something to us defensively. I can remember, we run a play called Shuffle, and I can remember her coming off of that several times and catching it and being in really good positions to shoot the ball. And I think her teammates got her in good positions to shoot the ball. The other thing I think Amari Barnes did well in this game is she is a really good three-point shooter. But oftentimes she will settle just to be a three-point shooter. And I felt like in this game, she didn't do that. I felt like she shot the 3 when she was open, but she also put it on the floor and shot some mid-range and got to the rim several times. And so I think that was really good. We need her to be good for us. We need her to not only make threes, but we need her to be able to go to the basket and be dynamic and do more than just be a standstill three-point shooter. For us to be good, we've got to have 3 or 4 people in double figures every night. And she has the ability to do that. We just need her to bring that to us every game.
So we will turn the page from all of these wins that we've talked about, and now we'll talk about a game that you're going to go on the road. You're going to play this Thursday, a team that you just played a week ago, South Ark, but it's going to be very different. You feel like you're going over there, you're playing in a gym, it'll be a hostile environment. The good thing is some of your girls already know what it's going to be like, so they can prepare the freshmen. But what are you expecting out of South Ark when you go up there this Thursday?
Yeah, I do think it will be a very different game than the game that was here. We've got to get on a bus. We got to ride 4 hours. We're going into hostile territory. Their baseball team is going to be standing on the sidelines, and they're going to heckle us, and that's part of college basketball. That's what makes it fun. But some of our freshmen have not played in that atmosphere. They have not, had somebody call their name or talk about their shoes or tell them they're no good. And so that will be an interesting thing for them. South Arkansas has got a really small, quaint gym, which in my opinion is very easy to shoot in. Well, they get to shoot in in it every day, and they shoot the ball well, so they're going to shoot it particularly well at home. So we'll have to be good defensively. We'll need to shoot the ball well. We're going to have problems if we don't shoot it well. And some nights we have not shot it very well, especially from the three. We took against BRCC, you and I talked, we took way too many threes and didn't shoot it very well. That's the difference in that game and these last 3 games that we've won. So we need to find a way to attack inside and play inside out. That's going to be very, very important for us. The other thing is we'll have played 3 games in 4 days. That's hard to do. Our legs are going to be a little tired. And this is the last game before we go home for the Thanksgiving break. Everybody's looking forward to a little bit of a break. So we can't overlook this and be already 1 foot out the door ready for the holidays. We've got to go in and finish the job, and that's the big thing. We talk about winning weeks. Try to go undefeated every week. We need to go finish the job and go undefeated this week.
Yeah, so lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolves. Coach, thanks for joining us. As you mentioned it, one more game before that break. That will be this one upcoming Thursday. Then we'll take the Thanksgiving break with everybody. No show next week with Thanksgiving. Come back for one more. Talk about a couple before the Christmas break as well, too. So lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolves. They've won 3 straight. Have rebounded really well from that 4-point loss against the Lady Bears of Baton Rouge. The one blemish on the record right now in that 6-0
Don't bring it back. Don't bring that up.
So, but off to a great start of the Lady Wolves, and we look forward to the season continuing. Stick with us after the break. We've got men's basketball. Coach Bolden's going to join us after this, and we'll talk about how the Wolves have done in their last 3 after. Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And joining me now, as promised, is our head men's basketball coach, Randy Bolden. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for being here.
And Coach, obviously the last 3 since we talked to you, you've been a little up and down. You've gone 1-2. One of those losses was really close. That's the first one we're going to talk about. It was a 68-63 road loss, your first true road game of the year. Your thoughts on how the guys kind of handled a little bit of a different situation? Like I said, first road game, long road trip, and you kept it really close throughout the whole game.
Well, yeah, I think you go back and you look at that game. We got off to a slow start, and again, we don't make any excuses, but that's our first road game, and it was a 4.5 trip. So I think it affected us early on, but we were able to get back in the ball game and gave ourselves a chance to win at the end.
You look at the box score; they outscored you 35-33. You kept it pretty much just as close in the second half, 33-30. They outscored you. That's how you get to the 68-63. And you look at the box score or the line score. You only had one player in double digits. If at home, if you can't figure out who it is, we won't bury the lead. It was Tyrell Bowles. He had a double-double, 21 and 11. But Caleb Crozier was right there behind him. He had 8 and 12, a really good game on the boards for Caleb. Morris Hammond came off the bench, gave you 9 points as well, too. As Dylan Craig gave you 9 as well with 5 rebounds. Your thoughts on how well Tyrell and those guys played?
Well, whenever we're able to get Tyrell the ball in his sweet spots, it's hard to stop him. And I think we struggled with turnovers that night as well. And it kind of caught us at the end. I think during the end, the biggest thing is I thought we played hard. We competed, and we gave ourselves a chance to win. Down the stretch, we may have had some costly turnovers, but I thought Tyrell was a monster. I thought he defended the paint, he rebounded it, and he scored it. So, and that's what we expect out of Tyrell night in and night out. So, if we can get other guys to come around and contribute, and we got to start knocking some 3-pointers down. We hadn't been shooting it well from the 3, but I think that time is coming. It's just a matter of time before we get going there.
And then you look at the 2 that you played this past week. You rebounded really well on Monday. You went down to Southwest, played a neutral site game against Baton Rouge. You won that one 63-53. And I think the most important thing maybe for you as a coach in this one, you saw the guys got down a little early in that first quarter. You were able to rebound. You got the lead, and once you got it, you never really looked back. It felt like the guys really played well once they got that lead.
Well, yeah, and I must say Baton Rouge is a really good team. They're athletic. They have size across the board, and I thought we were able to keep our composure. They jumped out on us early. I think they may have been up 13-14 early on, but we were able to fight our way back in. And again, once we got the lead, we kept our composure, and we we were able to take care of the basketball. The biggest thing is when we don't turn the ball over, we're hard to beat. I think our defense is our bread and butter, and I think we guarded them well, and we were able to get the ball to Tyrell late, and he was able to close it out late in the ball game.
Yeah, I think when you looked at this one, this may be a season low for turnovers. You just had 12 in this one. When I think I talked to you after, I said when I was inputting the stats, I was like, man, these turnover numbers are really low, and that's really good for the Wolves. But you look at the line scores. No shocker here. Tyrell Bowles with another double-double, 17 and 10. Morris Hammond, you gave him his first start. It really paid off for you. He gave you 11. Coy Williams gave you 12 with 6 assists and 4 rebounds. Caleb Crozier, again, flirting with that double-double every game, just about 6 points, 10 rebounds. I think the one thing that really sticks out about Caleb is he's a monster on the boards, and when you get him and Tyrell together, they really eliminate a lot of second-chance points for other teams.
Absolutely, and we're challenging Caleb to be more aggressive offensively. I think he's very gifted offensively, but we're just trying to get him to be more aggressive when he does catch the ball, and he shoots it well and he can finish. So those are some areas we're working on, as well as I thought Coy was really good. I thought Coy managed the game. He put together a really good game. I mean, I think maybe he had 7-8 assists that night. He got the ball to where it's supposed to go, and he made timely shots. So whenever our guards are playing well and making shots and taking care of the basketball, we're really hard to beat.
And 10 points for Tristan Lucas in that game as well, too. Don't want to forget him. And then this past Tuesday, you went back down there again, and you dropped one to Southern Shreveport. Southern Shreveport was the team that finished this thing 2-0. Might have been the best team at the whole thing. They beat you 70-54, but I want the people at home to understand that box score doesn't relay how close this game was. You had it down to 4 multiple times, and I know talking to you, I was like, if we could have ever got it down to a true one-possession game, if you could have got it down to 2 or 1 or even 3 and maybe tied them or taken that lead, it felt like that would have been enough for your guys to carry it out, but unfortunately you just couldn't get there.
Yeah, I thought Shreveport did a good job of, they got a lot of length and they're aggressive, and I think we got it down to 4 points. It was a 4-point lead with 6 minutes to go, and we had the ball. So, and then we turned it over maybe 3 or 4 straight time, and it blew them to 12. But I was proud of our guys. We kept fighting, and we clawed our way back and had a chance. But give it hats off to Shreveport. They got a really good team, and fortunately we get a chance to go down there and play them, and we're looking forward to that rematch. I like our guys when we see them again.
Yeah, and we talked about in that Baton Rouge game you had 12 turnovers. The inverse of this one, you had 27. So that just goes to show you, when you're taking care of the ball, like you mentioned, we're really good and you can win by 10 plus. But when you turn it over almost 30 times, you're probably not going to end up on the right side of that score line.
Yeah, we turned it over 27 times, and I think we were maybe 1 of 12 or 1 of 13 from the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. So when we don't shoot the 3 well and we're turning it over, it's hard to win. And we're just one of those nights, and I think our guys will rebound from it, and we're playing getting ready to play a really good team coming up.
Yeah, and you look at this line score, a little bit of a rarity for Tyrell. We talk about it all the time. If he's flirting with that double-double, he only misses it by 1 rebound. He had 16 points, but only 5 rebounds. It felt like Southern Shreveport did a really good job of boxing him out in this one. Another guy who had a really good game, probably his best game in a Wolves uniform, was Mustafa Salik. Gave you 13 points. He was your second-best scorer off the bench. He had 5 rebounds as well, too, along with 3 steals and a block. I think that's something going forward, you can carry that momentum forward for him.
Absolutely. When we signed Mustafa, we knew that he's very talented, and we're expecting his role to increase as the season goes on. He brings us energy on both ends of the floor. So I think he's starting to find get comfortable in what we're doing, and I think as we keep playing, you'll start to see more production out of him. And we talked about Tyrell and his 5 rebound, and that's a thing we challenge him every night to be a double-double, and you have those nights. But one thing about it, I'm not worried about Tyrell. He'll bounce back, and he'll be ready to go. So we just got to keep getting better game by game, and as the season progresses, I think we will.
Yeah, and you look ahead to your next one. You're going to play one on Monday of Thanksgiving break. Obviously, we won't get to talk about it until after the Thanksgiving break because we won't be in school next week. Again, no school, no show for us. But you're going to go play a team in Shelton State, a team that you've already seen once, a team that, if I'm not mistaken, is still a season low for them, 54 points. You beat them 61-54. But obviously, you're going to flip it. You're going to go to their place, and that's going to be a whole totally different experience. What are you looking forward to out of that one?
Well, I mean, I know they're ready to play us on their home court, and we'll be ready. And just to talk about Shelton, I mean, they're undefeated in our league. I think they've beaten East Central, they've beaten Hines, they've beaten East Mississippi. So they're really good. We played really good basketball here when we played them here, and I'm sure they'll be up and ready. Their crowd will be there, and it's a good test for us. Again, you know how tough it is on the road, but our guys, we keep our composure and do what we need to do, like our chances going in.
So looking forward to the guys getting a good bounce back opportunity. Hope you come back home with a win. Obviously, again, we won't get to talk about it until after Thanksgiving. That will wrap up our show this week. Lots of good things happening for the Wolves. Don't let the 1-2 over the last record fool you. They are 4-4 overall, 4 really big wins, and 3 of those 4 losses really close losses as well too. You like where the team is going forward.
Yep, absolutely. And our non-conference schedule is to prepare us for conference. And I think we've done a good job of putting a competitive schedule together. I mean, having a young group and to be 4-4 at this point where our progress is, I like where we are. Would we like to be 8-0? Absolutely. But this is a marathon. It's not a race, and we're just trying to get better each day, each week, to get ready for conference play.
So, Coach, we look forward to talking to you after the break. Good luck on that one on Monday. Again, at Shelton State, tip-off at 6 p.m. The only other action for the Wolves basketball teams, Wolves or Lady Wolves, will be the Lady Wolves at South Ark on Thursday. Tip-off, I believe, is 5:30. We've given you that information on all of our social media accounts when it's available. We'll give you all the information for Monday when it's available as well, too. Coach, looking forward to talking to you after the break. But that will wrap up everything this week. I'm Kevin Kyzar, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you after Thanksgiving.